Okay, guys, here we go. This is the Dirty Right Rear podcast, our first episode, and we're going to get into some good stuff. We're going to try to make it a little different for everybody. I got myself, Jeremy Booyer, got Jeremy Sutton. Our first guest is going to be Tim Nash here. We're going to try to get into a little bit of dome talk, a little bit of modified talk, a little bit of stuff like that, and so strap in and we'll get going with it.
All right, Tim, tell us about yourself. Who are you? Give us a little background on Tim Nash for those who don't know you.
That'll be a short story. All right, guys. Tim Nash here, Farmington, Missouri. This is the home of the old No7 garage we're sitting in right now. And a little bit about me. I started racing in 2011. My dad raced long before I was born, so I was born into it. Didn't have much of a choice, but I started late in life, 28 years old. So painting a picture, my wife's pregnant with our first kid, and I've decided to buy a race car. It's a great option. You guys should try it sometime. But anyway, so I started late in life and raced, what was 11, 12, 13 years? You do the math. But anyway, one-time track champion, got that out of my way, and quit chasing points. I kind of bounce all over the place, and with this YouTube channel that I call Old Number 7 Garage, I bounce all over. I don't really chase points or anything. I more chase the fans and meet people. It's real fun, and right now we're getting ready to roll into doing some dome racing, Gateway Dirt Nationals. So that's what you see behind us, and that's what we're getting ready to do. So, like I said, short story. What else you got?
Yeah. You said you was a track champion. Was that at Farmington?
Yeah. 2018 track champ.
2018 AMOD track champion.
Yep.
With the dome deal, the invitations and stuff like that, do you actually put in for that, or how does that actually work?
It doesn't hurt. So the fans always have an option to, go on the website, select their favorite driver, and say, I want them to go in. I don't even know how many times they can vote a day, but I know people that have sent me, they voted a lot a day. But from what I hear, that they kind of take that into account, but it's more of a staff decision, from what I understand. I could be wrong. So, I always tell all my people, go on there and vote and do the best you can. And I didn't think I was going to make it this year.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to ask. I mean, I don't watch it. I'm not into the modified stuff as much, so I don't know as much. But of course, I follow any racing.
Right.
Everybody says they don't like this car, they don't like that car. That's crap. If you like dirt track racing, you like anything.
Right.
I mean, even if it's a Hornet car, you're going to watch it. You may not want to watch it, but you're going to watch it, because I'll say modifieds ruined me at Farmington when, say the B mods started and your top 4 or 5, 6 cars were awesome, and your back 10 ruined the race for the top 4 or 5 guys, because it was just, yellow after yellow after yellow.
You're going to get a hot dog or something.
And it was just like, man, and I wanted to take a modified and I wanted to throw it over the fence, because I was like, this sucks. But then I did, back in the day when you'd watch Brent and Billy and you guys and Tim, Afro Kid at the time, Timmy,
Well, I don't know.
Timmy Hill.
Oh yeah, when he had hair.
Yeah. When those guys were into it all the time and beating it pretty good. I mean, I was a fan. I was a big fan. But I guess when the B mods kind of started, but you can't complain about that either, because people got to start racing somewhere, dude.
Right.
And everybody's like, oh my God, this guy lost his whole tail tank or this or that.
That has happened at Farmington. I remember.
I remember that. That's why I brought it up. But I mean,
I was in that race. It sucked.
and you're like, how do you, I understand sometimes people lose a wheel. You still make fun of that.
Right.
But you lost the tail tank, dude. It's getting held in by everything.
It was on fire.
I mean, so that kind of lost a little bit for me. But I was wondering, can anybody say, is there a list where you get a hold of somebody for the dome? Say Gary. Could I mean, I know he would do it, but does he have to get a hold of somebody to try to get even on the list or even get acknowledged to do it?
I promise you, it don't hurt to try.
Well, I didn't know if there was
personally, I don't know. I've never reached out to anybody. I have had some people ask me if I'd be interested that probably had some pull in that direction. And at that time I said no, because I like drinking beer and watching racing. I didn't want to race that damn thing. And then the more and more we done it, and the bigger that our YouTube stuff got, it's like, man, the support that you get there from the fans is crazy. So that's a huge deal for us. That's why we always do like a wrap like this. Like this one is just fun.
Yep.
You know, shitter's full. It's a good time. And it's going to sell a whole bunch of T-shirts, and it's going to propel us into next year. And it's going to get the fans a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. And hopefully we can do something kind of neat where they'll remember it.
Oh, yeah. And people just worry about those, right? That race. They're like, oh, you're going to tear this up. You're going to tear that up. You're going to tear stuff up at Farmington. You're going to tear stuff up anywhere you go.
It's
going to be worse there. I get it. But you can't
gotta
be worried about that getting into it. You got to get in there, man. And not to want to race one of the biggest races. That's why I was wondering, there's got to be a million locals that want to race that race that can't.
Right.
But how do they kind of even get to the point of getting there?
Yeah, I mean,
because like when I was going back to I was watching the list and I was like, Tim Nash ain't on the list. There's 7. They're only got one more
left.
section.
Right.
And I was like, I know he's ready to sell shirts. He's ready to do this. He's ready to do that. And
yeah, you can't buy a booth
see
or
it.
nothing until you know you're in it. You know,
And I was
nobody
like-
called me and said, "Hey, don't worry, you're in it." I'm just like, I'm gonna get my seats. I'm gonna go watch. I mean, I'm good either way. I'm very humbled that they invite me, and they have 3 years in a row. That's awesome.
You know, and then you look at the entry list and you see this guy's a B mod guy. That's a B mod, and it's like, man, put these A mods in there. These guys deserve to go, in my opinion, over a B mod. So, you know,
no, I went a couple times, but the reasoning behind limiting, is there not enough space there really?
There's not.
Okay.
No, so they open it up for the late model guys. So
Yeah.
they do cap it. I think. I'm not sure. I think 15 minutes worth of that being open, it was closed. It was boom, boom, just like that. And you got guys that you know are going to get in there. I mean,
Right.
you're not gonna have people that are winning all kinds of races, or they're not going to make it.
Yeah.
They're going to
Yeah.
get in there.
Right.
Same way with your late or your modified guys. There's guys that you want to see Ricky Thornton racing that.
Oh yeah.
You want to see Mike Harrison racing
Yep.
that. They're going.
right.
And
know?
he brought me back actually to watching it and really wanting to go back to it and everything Ricky Thornton putting. I mean, because he's gonna wear it out there, and he goes to the Tulsa Shootout,
Right.
and does a bunch of stuff. And then, but this past year, really, I've got a buddy that's in the Army and he runs a micro and he goes to Shootout. Well, Ricky Thornton did $500 sponsorships for like 10 people
Yep.
at the Shootout,
Right.
And he picked one of my buddies, and I went and talked to him. I was like, hey, man, my buddy ain't here yet, but he's going to come talk to you. You picked him out for one of the $500 sponsorships. And he's like, who was it? And I said, oh, Donnie Burrows. And he's like, oh, yeah, it was my first one. So I seen him in the Army where he gets transported here and there, and then all of a sudden he can't race for 2 months. And he goes, I was like, he's one of my dudes. And I was like, and he sat there and talked to me like nobody, which I think those guys should, if they want to really politic their case and stuff. But
Not every one of them do.
I know.
Yeah.
Some of them are not cool.
kind of feel
But
you.
he 100% told me the whole story and everything. And I actually had to walk away from him because we were getting ready to push cars out. And I was like, dude, I got to go, man. But
Pretty personable
but he was
guy.
pretty cool. And he can will everything, man. That dude,
Right.
Man
it
of many
seems like
hats,
his sprint car is going to be a little, you ain't going to jump in that and be some
Well,
total
no.
badass.
Right.
I mean,
No.
so he's got to, he's going to have a little time in that, but I think he'll be okay. But
I think he'll give him time. He'll be
Yeah.
quick in that too. It's a
If
whole
not,
new
we're
ball
going
game.
to be, what the hell, Thornton?
yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah.
He'll get it.
So let's talk a little bit about your dome merchandise. How does that propel your season? I know you take a lot of merchandise up there. You sell a lot. How does that contribute if people buy your merchandise to your program and success of your program?
Yeah. Every dollar spent is a dollar further we go the next season. And we try to have fun with it. We try to make merch that you want to buy. Not, you're like, oh, there's Tim, I like what he does. I'm going to buy his shirt, but even though it looks like shit, I'm going to get it. But no, we have, and this year we've, I've got so much stuff I can't even tell you.
I've seen that.
T-shirts, cups, die-cast, mini doors. All these panels are actually sold on it, I was telling you.
Yeah, that's
like
awesome.
People want to buy the
Yeah.
panels. All that stuff, I mean, most people get it, right? I mean, anything that you got, if you're a race car driver and you make racing shirts, which costs a lot, but if you're selling them, you're making a little money on it, and that's basically right back into your program.
Right.
That's why, we do it. I haven't been quite good enough yet to even make the show at the Dome.
But that's another question. If you make it, have you thought about your driver introduction yet?
Oh, yeah.
You want to spill the beans on that? What
No.
you would do?
No.
Okay. Okay.
No, we want to,
Well-
use your imagination.
Well, yeah. Okay. The shitter's full or
Come on.
something. Yeah.
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 All right.
Yeah. We've got it set up, but
All
here's
right.
the deal: the guy's
mean-
got to make the show.
Yeah.
right?
We could drag a Johnny out from out back and just follow you with that thing too.
Get her done.
right.
I don't give a damn.
That's my favorite part of the Dome anymore is watching all the,
Well, here's the thing, though. The top 10 guys get to pick their music. So if you're
okay.
10th on down, you don't. You just get some, whatever they want to put you on there. So we got to get in the top 10 because I've got a song.
Yeah, we
that's
need
gotta
top
be
10.
Played.
Yeah,
it's got to be played.
Yeah. Well, if you don't do that, I hope we get to see an interview and you do something spectacular because that's what people remember at the Dome is those interviews that somebody wrecks on the track and.
Well,
I don't know about that.
So
Listen,
Let's not go there.
I'm on a short leash with that thing.
if you're in
Sorry, Gary.
if you're in the last transfer and the dude in front of you is there and you can put him in the fence and make the show, what's going to happen?
I'm not that guy anywhere but the Dome.
Right.
Okay. So I mean,
I put my mom on the wall to make the show.
I didn't know if Gary had his car there and you were like, he's in front of you.
That's Gary. I've spun him out in a feature before.
Okay.
He still owes me one.
Anybody you would want to put in the fence, man?
Yeah.
Maybe? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, hey,
No,
while
no,
we're
not
going there, our podcast called the Dirty Right Rear Podcast. So 2 questions we're going to ask everybody. Number 1, what's the dirtiest right rear you've ever thrown somebody? And number 2, what's the dirtiest right rear you've ever had thrown on you? Putting you on the spot here.
I didn't put me on the spot. Racing as long as I have, I have made. We won't even call them enemies, but I've had altercations. I've had altercations with a lot of guys that I race with, but there's one guy right now that I still got a beef with, and he gave me a dirty right rear, and I gave him one.
What's his name?
Van Dreet.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I had a feeling that's where we was going.
I still owe him one, I think. So I hope you watch this, bud, because man, whew,
I'll tag him.
yeah, tag him in it because
Yeah.
I don't even know where he went. He disappeared, so I guess maybe he quit racing. But
I mean, that was pretty. Because I was speaking back to Timmy Hill when he had the afro. I mean, Brent Thompson come to one of our Halloween parties dressed up as Timmy Hill one year when they hated each other so bad.
yeah, they love each other.
And it was awesome, but
Yeah, I've thrown slide jobs. Most of the time, I've squashed it with anybody. I've had deals at Benton, and we've squashed about everything except that guy. I can't squash that one.
Well, have you seen him since then? Have you raced
I
with
stood
him?
right beside him, and he didn't want to talk. So
Yeah.
I gave him the opportunity to talk, and he's done a lot of it on the internet.
Yeah, I'll say I remember watching his video. He done a lot of talking on the internet and
Keyboard beating.
talking about this YouTube guy and
Yeah. If he can't beat me, there's a problem because it's not hard to beat me. I'm not that good. Come on, no shit.
So, who's your racing hero?
Might be a cliche, but it's got to be my dad.
I figured,
100%.
I figured, I remember as a kid, I'm 44 years old. I remember hammering Henry Nash, one of the first guys I ever seen. That was 99. Was that right? Was that his
Got
number?
him right over there.
Yep. But I remember, I remember that name, and now I'm, I kind of feel privileged to know the guy on a personal level. It's all these guys that were heroes growing up. Now I know most of them. It's like, man, it's just cool. That's a cool side of racing to me.
Oh yeah, and it's the reason the 99. They told him to. I'm pretty sure this story's right. They told him to pick a number between 1 and 100. He's like, hell, I don't know. Give me 99. You can't have a 3-digit number back in the day.
Right.
So
that's how actually part of me getting to race was my dad was hanging out with Neil Hudson.
yeah,
And
the crew.
Van and all them.
Right.
And then I was started going to the city, driving my car and always breaking down. And your dad always worked on my highway unit.
yeah.
And my dad's like, hey, we ought to get in racing. No, all their kid, Billy does it, Matt does it, and all this. And I'm like, I just don't know anything about big cars, man. And then we went to Doe Run one night, and I'm like, let's get one of those things. What are those? And he's like, no, those turn over all the time. We ain't getting those. And we ended up doing it. But then that's how we kind of got started, is my dad hanging around all those guys, which was pretty wild. But I remember all those dudes from way back. And that was pretty cool.
I wish I could have grew up racing in that era, like
Oh, man.
in the 80s and 90s.
It's so different because of like now, you've got, well, say you and Gary and them, all you guys kind of go do stuff. We did it with a group of, Ron Boyd, Tank, his dad, Tony Roney. We all followed. There was a group of 6 cars with 6 families, and we went to Belleville. There wasn't as many races at the time, but we all went everywhere together.
Right.
Kent Buckley, and Carter, everyone followed each other. Nowadays, It don't happen like that. I mean, you don't hang out at the races. You don't really.
Right. It's different walking through the pits anymore.
I mean, it's not, and it ain't because of owners or this or that. Right. It's just everybody's got. It seems like everybody's more busy than what they used to be. Yeah, I mean, we stayed at the racetrack until
sun
birds
comes up
were chirping, and I was like,
"Oh yeah."
Well, that could be a whole episode. Some of the racetrack parties.
We ain't talking about that right now because that got stupid, real stupid.
Oh yeah, I've been to several.
Yeah, that's not. Those were pretty wild, but I ain't.
Yeah, that whole racing as a family and friends deal. Like we try to go, Gary and I and all of our family. We try to all go race together when we can, and it just makes it that much more fun,
Right.
I mean,
it's cool to have a brother-in-law that you're close with, that, your kids can grow up with, and share a passion that you guys have. And
so your sister is Gary's wife, then?
No. I married
Gary's wife's sister.
Okay. So I was wondering how that was going.
Yep. Actually, my wife Kim introduced Amanda to Gary.
Oh, okay.
And then it was all downhill from there.
So those that don't know, we're talking about Gary Gross, and it's Tim's brother-in-law. And what's their YouTube channel?
So that
Gross Family Racing.
Gross Family Racing is their YouTube channel. Gary races. Yep. He's got 2 daughters, Haley and Kinley. Haley races a B mod and an A mod sometimes, and Kinley races with my son Chase as a go-kart. And they go kind of all over the place, but mainly dough run and stuff like that. But
so this car sitting behind us is actually Gary's. Tim decided a month ago to sell your race car right before the biggest race of the year.
Yeah, done the right thing and thought, I just made a post. I'm like, my wife's like, came in there like, what are you doing? You selling? I'm like, I don't know. If somebody buys it.
That's because there's something top secret going on that we're not going to know about today that we're going to find out.
Are you sure? Let's talk. That's one of my questions.
I know.
2025 plans.
It
You
ain't
willing to
happening.
share anything, Tim?
I already know he ain't telling because I already seen the video about when he's going to tell it sometime. But hey, if this don't air till Thursday and you're telling before then, we can go ahead and talk about it.
Oh, now listen, I already said that. I'm not going to divulge any information here. Somebody may leak something. Well, I'll say that. Go ahead. Ask your question.
No, what are your 2025 plans?
I'm going to drive a race car.
In circles?
In circles.
Little circles?
No
or big
ones.
Circles?
I'll give you this. So I sold the car I had. It was an impressive race car. Downey Jumper built it. Great car. But about every 2 years, I like to sell it. And I did. And Gary, I was at his shop, and I was like, I put my car up for sale. And he's like, if you sell it, you need one, take old Blue here. And, directly. I mean, I wasn't word for word, but I swear the next day I sold it. So I'm like, hey, Gary, that still true? I can use your car? He's like, oh, yeah, come get it. So we've polished on it and rewrapped it and put some panels on it. I got a whole new body for Haley. This is Haley's car, by the way. This is her A mod. So it'll go back to them better than I got it, I hope. If not, Michael Long, which is a long shot car. Michael Long said the jig's ready, if I need to use it.
So with all these cars, you've been through a handful of cars. Which one?
This is my favorite?
Yep.
Well, I won the track championship in 2018. That was a 2016 Impressive, and I won a lot of races with it. So that specific Impressive chassis, and I damn near won. There was a big AMS race at Farmington in 2019. Tyler and Isley, all them big name guys with these elites were down there. And I led that thing until I knocked the wall down with that car. So that was pretty cool for me because they're usually mopping me,
I wasn't sure since I knew you had, Kryptonite?
Kryptonite. I started out with Shaw cars. I actually redone one of those. That's a pretty cool series on the old YouTube, the old No7. Anyway, I pulled that out of the weeds. It was a good car, just, it was good then and it was okay now. But, yeah, them Impressives, I like that one the best.
Well, going back with, Gary and all them racing, I know that, that's Haley's car.
Right.
So when she was racing and doing all her stuff, and then she disappeared for a while, chased around Chase Holland.
Yep.
Where'd that go? What happened with that?
Well, I think they just had
I know everybody wants to be nice about it, but here's the thing. Do we need to try to get him voted out of the dome and Gary in, or is it okay?
He's a good kid. I just, that he's got a lot of stuff going on that, maybe he just should be a bigger man and make a different decision. And that's my opinion.
Okay, so we're putting Gary or Haley in the dome next year, and we're getting him out.
Yeah, maybe.
So that's
you guys do what you got to do.
that's the deal. That's next year.
But yeah, it was just I think they just mutually separated ways. I know Gary still talks to him and stuff.
Oh, he does? Oh, okay. Well, dang, it ain't as good then. I was thinking if Gary was going to win the feature and he had to put him into the fence, well, Gary put him in the fence.
You know Gary?
I mean, some. I just
he put his mom into the wall too.
Well, that's what I want to hear.
I'll never forget Gary's first night driving a race car at Farmington.
Was you there?
I was there, believe it or not.
Holy crap!
Gary hung
was at that race?
I was. That was the one time a year I went to the races that year.
That's one that really probably wishes he had a YouTube channel for.
Yeah, that would have been nice. I was in the concession stand line. I look up and there's a modified hanging in the turn 2 fence.
Orange one at that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Usually this big old burly guy crawl out of the car. Oh man,
You know what he told me?
I can only imagine.
He said, "Hell, Tim, that was fun." I said, "All right, then. That's fine."
That's why he don't run the wall no more, the top no more. He's scared of that fence.
Night one.
Night one.
Oh,
it
man.
earned him for good. You know?
I seen his last video where he was.
Yeah.
I was
getting up there.
I really
out of Ford.
I thought it was Haley in the car, not Gary.
Haley does run the top pretty good.
Coming out of 4, he was getting close. He had to been getting a little scared there because I seen
was
the video.
fucking up.
It was
Right.
He knocked that quarter panel off a little bit. Yeah.
that was pretty good.
Gary's a catfisher, though. Don't let him like it. He likes the bottom.
Yeah.
He likes that bottom.
Let's talk about your biggest win ever. What would you call your biggest win ever?
Man, I don't really know. I have to think about that. Can it be in a B mod?
You can be in anything. Yeah.
So a buddy of mine, Rick Lafferty, he let me borrow his B mod. And he didn't let me borrow. He'd bring it down and he would field the car for me. I'd drive it.
That was a 66 car?
Yeah. That thing was ignorant.
Yeah,
fast.
that thing was.
And matter of fact, the check's hanging back behind him. But I won that thing from the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was.
I remember that car was always fast, man.
Well, something happened in the heat, and I had 2 cautions on myself, and I had to pull out. That was crappy. It's like, you idiot. Started at the back, and I won that thing. That was pretty cool. Nobody running the top. You couldn't have painted a picture any better. I'm just buzzing around the top, and that was a really cool win to me to win from the back. And I may be wrong, but I think I won in the A mod that night too. I think that was a double win.
Now,
We'll just say I did it.
That was good. Yeah.
We'll just say it. Yeah, we're going to say I did.
My memory might be a little wrong here, but what happened the following week in that B mod?
I wrecked that thing twice.
Was that the night you stuffed it in the wall, running the high side?
Well, no, see.
I don't remember all the details. I just remember thinking, man, you went from putting on a clinic one week to the next week.
Did I wreck it bad?
Yeah, I think you did.
Because the only 2 times I ever really wrecked that bad, a guy ran through me, and the other time as a guy was pulling out and I drove through him.
In the turn 1. That
was actually, I think it was the next year.
Oh, well, I was thinking it was
another 1,000 to win show.
Okay.
Another 1,000 to win show.
Yep.
I led most of it, and then the guy, I think it was Rick Stevenson, was coming to pass me on the bottom. There was a lap car between us. I'm looking at the lap car because I'm crowding the lap car because I want to crowd him, just a little bit, just put some pressure on him. And we crossed the line, and he just barely beats me. I look up, and this guy was like stalled out, pulling out of the thing. I think it was Cody Bell. And I just drove through him, cleaned him out.
I vaguely remember that. So.
Woo! I was like, this dude's dead. I got to go. But he was okay. He rung his bell. But I mean, I was prepared for it. He wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What's your biggest heartbreaker during racing? Would it be your AMS show? I know we've talked about that.
Man, that would have been cool. I mean, I did rally back up to second after falling back to fourth, but
yeah,
I don't know. I've had a lot of heartbreakers, a lot of engine problems. You know, every driver goes through spurts where you're just having engine troubles and stuff. I would say my biggest one, just because. Chase, quit making that racket. I had my old Shaw car, right? This is the first car I drove, technically. We bought it. I drove it. Brent Thompson and me got together, and I flipped it, rolled it, totaled it out, knocked the back end off of it. And actually, Brent came up and made me fix it and run the feature. All right, and that was the end of that car. 2014, end of it. It went and sat in the field, in the woods, actually. Well, 3 years ago,
I rebuilt it.
That's Lazarus, right?
Lazarus,
Yep,
yes.
yep.
I took it to Rusty Griffall. He put a back end on it. We rebuilt it from the ground up. I mean, it was all new. I had that first race won. Done. Half of a straightaway, half a track lead. I don't remember. And the damn throttle fell off of it. It wasn't a big race, but
right.
it was just that first car. The
Yeah.
first night, I would have won it all.
And everybody thought you was absolutely crazy for pulling a car out of the dang weeds.
And I showed him.
And you're right. And, rebuilding this 15-year-old car, 10-year-old car, whatever
Right.
it was at the time. And I remember I thought, what is he doing? He's going from an impressive that he's doing well in to an old race car. What is he thinking?
YouTube content for one.
Right?
I mean, that was
Oh,
great
yeah,
content
that was
on that build
huge.
series.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And then, I always said, that's why I never got rid of that car. I will race that car again. And I was actually going to put him in it. And then I done the right thing and posted it for sale on the internet.
You like doing that, huh?
And it all worked out in the end because that car's still winning races.
Where's it at now?
Southern Missouri somewhere. I can't remember. But
Okay.
it's an IMCA car, I think.
Really?
Yeah, he sent me a couple messages and it's like, this car's freaking awesome. So,
Wow.
yeah.
With the YouTube stuff, do you what did you do before that? Didn't you work for like a highway department or something? Or
So I worked up in Arnold, rock quarry,
okay,
crushed limestone, and I'd done that till July of last year.
oh really? Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought when you started your YouTube,
No.
I mean,
I ain't that brave.
I was wondering. I mean,
Hell no.
it's got to be. I mean,
Well, I done that, and I'm a jack of all trades. I've always hustled for money, side jobs.
Yeah.
just doing whatever. And you ever been to Fairbury?
no.
You're missing out. Jeremy, you been to Fairbury?
Not yet.
So
That's somewhere I want to get to.
that's a bucket list track for you, right? PDC.
Yep.
You got to go to it. Well, there's thousands of golf carts there. Well, you can't rent one. They're all booked. So I bought a golf cart and kind of fixed it up. And that started like a really big side hustle. So that started taking off. YouTube's going pretty good. My boss is a dick. So when I talked to my wife about it, and next thing you know, I don't work there no more. I'm full-time golf cart guy, YouTube guy. So that was July of last year.
I was wondering how that kind of panned out. 'Cause I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be that had to have been a little nervous.
Well, yeah, and it wasn't actually the fact that I just walked in and quit. They canned my ass.
Oh no
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah, over some crazy stuff. I don't know. What about you? Like, if your boss is coming at you, no respect, and just like always, just like I can't stand for it.
Yeah.
I ain't made that way.
Yeah.
So I called him out on it, and that was the end of that.
Right.
Yeah. And when we talked about this, I'm like, well, there's no better time to do it now. Just
Right.
rip it off like a Band-Aid.
Did you ever call him now and say thanks?
I should. And I've threatened to.
Yeah.
I've
I'd
threatened
send him a Christmas card and be
Right.
like, hey man, thanks for making my life great.
Right.
He
right.
actually did, because you know what he did? He freed up time.
Yeah.
And to me, time is more valuable than money.
Right.
Time with your kids, your family,
Right.
time to do whatever you want.
Right.
Within reason, of course.
Right,
My
right.
wife's still got a job, but she owns her own business. We can just close it up and go
Yeah.
racing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty. It's pretty neat. But she's always on me because I don't do as much YouTube stuff as I should.
I see, man, you hear tons of people talking about making so much money off that, and that seems like it's still a job, though,
There's
man.
a lot of money to be made. I'll tell you right now, it's a full-time job.
But I mean, my big worry is I'm still, I guess, maybe old school where we should have a job or whatever. Do you think all this stuff will still like be around, or is it just going to get bigger? That's what
Me
worries me.
personally, like in my lifetime of doing this, I don't think there's anything to
I
worry
don't.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, look at MySpace. I thought that was
Right.
the coolest thing
that,
ever.
That was. Yeah.
I thought that would never go anywhere.
There's
man.
space or whatever comes
Yeah,
along. and-
Facebook comes along, and I was like, I'm not joining that.
Right.
That looks
Hell
really
yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't want to be in that.
No,
clique.
I wanted to play
Yeah.
some videos and chat with this and that.
You
and
got to
do this.
have your top 8 friends.
Yeah.
You know who you're
They-
mad at that week.
Like a few years ago, you could actually log back into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all the pictures from
Right.
back then, it's like,
Yeah.
what in the hell?
I mean, if I was smart enough and knew how to do stuff, I'd do like a MySpace 2.0 and
People would
really
just
get it
flock to
rolling.
it.
Oh man, I'd be like, this is just like
You
before.
got to include some sort of dirt stuff
Oh,
in there,
yeah,
though, so
yeah.
we can get that back
Right.
out. Because
Yeah.
don't, hey, but don't you think with everything that's happening right now in the dirt world that it's getting bigger? We need to start paying more.
Oh yeah. There's more eyes than ever on dirt track racing. I feel
Man.
like with all the NASCAR guys coming down. Now you got Ty Gibbs and Kyle Busch and
Right.
all these guys dabbing into it. Larson's done it. Seabell's about to get back.
And what's
into
wild is you go to these tracks, like when we'll go run the junior sprints with the kids and all this stuff. Half of those kids, like Larson, will be there. They're at all these little
Right.
podunk tracks we're at,
Right.
and you're like, huh, this is wild. And they're racing for $125,
Right. Yeah.
you know, and they've got a $20,000 junior sprint sitting there, and I'm like, this is just going backwards, man. It just don't. And I understand it comes a lot with the track owners too. They can't make enough money to pay it.
Right.
But I don't.
Some of them can't. Some of them can.
Some of them can,
Right.
but I don't see the fix on trying to get more pay for all this, but without upping. You know, everybody wants to put an entry fee on, which I absolutely hate entry fees
That's
on
tough.
tracks.
Yeah.
Just because I understand a small one or here and there, but we go to so many that's $200, $250, the KKM stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
crazy, and you make good money, but it's just I don't know how the fix on how to get more people get paid better.
Well, I mean, just looking at like the mod class, you know, back in the day, they weren't as bad. Now, I could have a pretty damn nice sprint car.
Yeah,
You can
I
have
can't
a
say
really
late
not-
model because
Yeah.
it doesn't touch that. But we're racing for $600-700 to win.
yeah.
We were getting paid that, back when my dad raced.
Oh yeah.
And that's not a dig on the track owners. or
No.
promoters.
That's what I'm saying is
But
it
it's
was the
like,
same amount of
man.
money then.
Yeah.
What do we do? Somebody tell me. what
That's
we
why,
do.
guy Jeff Asher, good friend of yours. That's why he went sprint car racing. You could have a nice piece to run Farmington for triple the money or double the money,
The other end of that spectrum is I can take that car to about any race
Right.
track,
Yep.
right, and race it. So there's the silver lining.
The
Yep.
sprint car deal 410 is
Right.
you're either going to Farmington or you're going outlaw racing.
Right.
Well, I say that next year Power I does have a 410 series. Supposedly it's going to be more of a local deal.
Right.
Not local, but it'll be Midwest.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see a couple other things coming about, but I just that 410 deal, and everybody's like, "Well, get a 360." I see, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know racing then,
At
because 360 is the same deal.
It
bet
ain't
you
any
could spend
cheaper.
more.
Probably.
It
You're
ain't any
trying to
cheaper.
get
You're trying to
every
cheat.
ounce. Oh, yeah,
You're
every
trying to get
ounce
everything you can get
yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree with some of that, but that sprint car game too, man. I mean, the price and just the amount of money, which I don't even know too much on stuff like that, but I mean, I know what other stuff costs, and Jesus.
Motor's always your most expensive.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You can buy frames all day long.
Right.
All day.
All day
Yeah.
long.
The frame's twice as much there because there's twice as many bars as
Yeah.
the
Right.
car.
You
Your
know-
motors are going to be a lot more than mine, but there's more shit to bolt on this.
Yeah.
one.
The thing about the sprint cars, you wreck one of these, and a lot of times, I'm not going to say it's cheap, but it's a lot cheaper. You wreck a sprint car, you're out 10 grand.
Yeah, but
Everything's so fragile.
You
on
can
it.
fix stuff
Right.
on
Yeah.
this, Sprint car, once it's broke, I mean,
Right.
you're done.
Micro, same way. You can go out there and turn a car over and do,
It's $1,000.
easy.
$1,000 for a turnover, and then
Yep.
sprint car's $2,000. I
Right.
mean, that's
minimum.
all there is to it.
Yeah.
But what are the motors on these? What's an not like a Farmington guy?
Average,
I'm saying
average
an
motor,
average good.
An average good motor, 25 to 30,000.
I was figuring it's probably about that.
For that, you could go buy a used sprint car to compete at
Race
Farmington.
ready?
Yeah, you could do it.
You
at
can
Farmington.
spend 35
Yeah.
or 40 on one of them motors, just
Yeah.
like you could, you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
spend 10 or 15. It's good middle of the road.
Right.
You get one, and you got to have a pretty good motor. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. If you don't have
really, yeah.
you don't have a motor. I mean, people's like, oh man, you can drive and you can do this, but dude, if you ain't
Get away with a little bit less motor here than you could a Sprint, probably, because it's just so big of a tire. You
Yeah.
can only get so much. If you got a very excellent handling car, you can
Yeah.
have a 600 horsepower motor and do all
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Versus a guy that's got a 7 or 750. But do that.
Staying on the racetrack, what's your favorite racetrack to race on? Race at?
I mean, I always like Benton for whatever reason.
Yeah. Fits your driving style?
I just when I used to go there,
You
back
like
in the
hitting
day-
that concrete in turn 1 and 2, don't you? Is that still there? Do they still have that concrete exposed on the bottom of
Yeah,
turn 2?
I don't know about now, but
Yeah.
back in 13 and 14. The
Yeah.
reason I liked it then is because when I went there, either won or broke.
Right?
Right. So it's kind of hard not to like the track if you win there every time.
they're doing a good thing too, though. Benton's, I mean,
Yeah,
they're playing it right. How they're having big shows. All these tracks nowadays need to kind of see that the local racing is not as crazy anymore.
Not
but
as lucrative
They'll all
or-
have like a some decent local racing, but they have to throw a big show in there every month. And I know it costs a lot of money, but they still pack. I mean, even Benton, when I seen that show down there, it was a big deal.
It's an excellent place too. The facility is nice.
awesome.
It really is.
I mean, it's just
awesome.
in the worst place ever.
It is.
You know, Poplar Bluff is probably right there with them. It's like,
Yep.
golly, what do you do to do that? And I like the Bluff
Poplar
too,
Bluff's
but-
fast, man.
I like
that
it.
place is fast.
Benton's the same way. Every time I go down there, I'm like, I forgot how fast this place is.
It's just rough to go down to
You
Benton.
can eat a sandwich down the straightaway.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
I wish like a lot of those tracks would have better equipment to work with and everything, because those tracks would be just
I
ridiculous.
think they got pretty good stuff at Benton.
ridiculous. Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, just
Poplar Bluff was rough the last time I went. I seen him trying to work the track and stuff, and I was like, "Whew, man, this is
You know,
tough for him to get this thing rolled in here
Right.
pretty good."
It's funny. The Benton promoter went down with some buddies to a drag race about 3 or 4 years ago, and they had bought Benton Speedway. And the guy's like, "My intentions were to bulldoze it." He's like, "I know nothing about running a racetrack, but I'm going to give it a whirl." He had sold all the equipment, all the lighting, I think some of the bleachers. He had sold out because he was going to bulldoze the place. And then one day he said he was sitting there. Him and his dad used to go there to watch the races. And he said, "Dad, let's open this racetrack. Let's give it a whirl." And here we are, 3 years later, and you know they're hosting some huge events. And
had a really good last.
And I
rest
think
this
I think
season.
next year they're even going to be bigger.
right,
I can't wait to race it. Yeah.
yeah,
I think they're going to have some good stuff.
I can remember going years ago. Me and Tim talked about this last week. Went to a big A mod show, and was there 20 A mods and 3 finished down there. And, and
That was 2,000 to win. And everybody
Was
was.
it?
It was
Yeah.
like it was a dome race.
yes,
Everybody
it was
killing everybody.
I remember Tim was. You know, a lot of locals were there, and we got home like 3 or 4 in the morning that night. But it was a hoot. Who ended up winning?
Josh Hall.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember. I remember, you know, Tim at one point was leading. I want to say Mike Savage, Jeff Asher. I
Brad
think,
Kinder was racing then. He was leading. I think I crawled in the car with him because he wrecked me.
I think Danny Reesinger was there. I think he was winning. At some
Everybody
point
had
that
at least
night.
one lead
yeah,
lap.
It was
Too
just
bad they wasn't paying lap lead.
yeah,
money.
it was wild. And I remember that's the night. If hopefully Super Dave Chilton listens to this, and I had to bail him out on 32 on the way home. His truck broke down.
Oh, hey, I had that happen. The only time I won this year, my truck broke down. Jake Goforth and Asher and
I
Josh
remember
Reed.
that. I remember showing up to the track Saturday that night, and you know we're like, "What the heck's going on?" And then you guys were over there laying under it all night, cutting the exhaust off.
The whole exhaust clogged up. I drilled me and Dad drilled the biggest holes we could get in the bottom. It sounded like a jet engine going
I
on.
remember that. Yeah.
And now my whole trailer, which used to be white, is like a tint of black, and I cannot get it off of it. Oh, it's terrible.
That was
What I'll do there.
yeah. That was a fun night. That was the one time I went to Benton this year, and I had a blast. So, so we hit your favorite track. What's your least favorite track?
Man, probably Peevely because I suck at it. I want to like that track, and it's fast, but it's going to have to show me some love.
What is it about Peevely that makes it so tough if you don't run there?
The cars there seem to be. I mean,
It's just
It
the guys that run there consistently. Take Danny Ems, for instance. He is hard to freaking
Right.
beat there.
Yeah.
But we raced our asses off at Tri-City against him.
Yeah.
You know, but he just mops me at Peevely.
Yeah.
It's just them guys that's got them laps there, and they just drive it harder, I guess. I don't know. I just can't figure that place
I've
out.
often wondered because you got guys, you know, not knocking Bill Nicholson, good friend of mine. You know, he comes out to farming. He had an A mod for a few years. He was okay. He'd go to Peevely, run top 5 every night. You know, I remember a World of Outlaw show. He started in the front row, and I'm like, how does somebody like Bill, you know, never runs here and runs against, I won't say lesser competition, I don't know the right word at Farmington, but, you know, doesn't fare as well, but then he can go to Peevely against all those guys and run top 5. It just always baffled me on how.
Probably because they made more green flag laps.
Maybe, yeah.
It was like he said back
Yeah.
in the day with the B mods. I mean,
Yeah.
it was
Right.
I mean, I run them. I was in it. It was
Right.
like,
Oh,
dude,
man.
you better go to the bathroom before you get out
Right.
there and everything because you're going to be there for a while. And it
Right.
was just one of them things. It
Yeah,
just-
those
it was.
those were grueling.
Yeah. There's, you know, those cars have come a long way for sure. And part of that is, I guess, the B mod. What, you know, if you're looking to get into racing, what is the starter class right now? Is it a B mod or a super?
And
street?
how old you are?
Yeah, you know, well, yeah. If you're an adult,
Average adult,
man, I don't.
I bet you. Ask Jason Neal. I bet you he's got as much money in his than he does a good B mod versus a good B mod to have much money in theirs that I do.
Right. They've got to. Those-
Speed costs money. How fast you want to go?
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. What's your favorite track conditions?
As I get older, I like a slick, smooth track. Back when I didn't give a damn, I wanted her cowboy up because I would just hold the gas pedal down. Slick and smooth. It's easy on equipment, in the pocketbook, and the driver. No chiropractor.
Right? Yeah. Right. Where's your favorite place to run on the racetrack?
Really? Wait, come on.
Hey, I gotta ask. Hey.
Put her on the fence, bud. I want to run the fence.
Yeah. All right. What's a racetrack you've always wanted to race and never got to?
And I'll never get to East Bay.
Yeah. That.
I really wanted to go to that this year, and the guy sold his race car. So
I was gonna say, I think you had a shot, didn't you, to go? Somebody asked you to go.
No, it was Volusia.
Oh, Volusia.
Cody.
Okay. Yeah.
We were going to go to the Rudiman deal. And,
okay.
He said if you wanted to grab a stacker and go, Cody Thornhill. So maybe next year, Cody. Maybe we'll go next year.
Cody, I've never talked to that guy in my life. Man, he'd be a hoot to get on the podcast, I think.
Is that an open invite?
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, I mean, the time I did go to Farmington a few times out there, and people were like, this is stupid. This guy's wrecking everybody. And I was like, I came because of this guy.
Right? Yeah.
I'm going to come
Is he
back.
going to park it on that guy's roof? Or
Yeah, I'm going to come back because this guy's here. Everybody's like, he's wrecking this and that. And I'm just like, I don't really care. I want to pay to see this, which
He
is.
wasn't really wrecking that
No,
many.
he wasn't wrecking.
No.
It was
You know
just.
how hard it is to drive a car like that? That is damn near impossible. So props to Cody.
You could have went and got a burger and fries, walked across the track, went underneath his car, and went over into
Not
the
even
fence.
touched your
And
head.
not even
Right.
hit nothing.
Right. Most of the time, he didn't wreck anybody but himself. Every time I watched.
Yeah.
No, Cody's a very respectable driver. More than one time we've been close, and he's got on the brakes or vice versa, and that's the way it should be. So yeah, Cody, if you're watching this, it's an open invite, and I'm going to send you the link to this either way.
That's what people don't understand. All the racers see that, some of them, and they're like, we don't want to race with that. That guy's crazy. That guy's this and everything. You know how many people in the stands seen that? And we're like, hey, I wonder if that guy's coming next week.
Right. Oh yeah.
I mean, they was cheering.
Yeah, I mean, it was insane.
There was nights I would go, and if he wasn't there, I was like, dang it, I was hoping he was here. He was fun.
Let's not talk about that because I don't want. That was like back when Chris Boyd and Kenny Kennedy ran the mods. They were toting them left fronts.
Right.
That reminded me of
Oh,
that.
I love it. I think it's cool.
We don't want to do that again. That's hard to do.
I like all those.
Oh yeah.
Even like the mod lights, when you see those race, which is, I'm going to blast it a little bit, but I have to.
Go for
the
it.
mod lights are probably the coolest looking car out there. I think they are the neatest cars.
pretty
if
neat.
you go to Doe Run and watch them, I would rather punch myself in both eyeballs than watch that race.
But didn't you own a couple mod
I owned a
lights at
couple
one
of them,
time?
and then I realized they were in my garage, and I thought, man dudes were going to come start hanging out with me in my garage, so I had to get rid of them.
I remember
Because I was like,
he built a new house, and I had to go check it out. And I walk in the garage, there's 2 mod lights sitting there. I'm like, boy, you're doing midlife crisis already, or
well,
something.
and they're the coolest looking, awful. Well, I say that if you go to Southern Illinois Raceway,
Yeah.
they're cool.
pretty fun.
They're pretty neat looking, man. They're awesome. But Doe Run is just the boringest place to watch those things because they have to just, 50 mile an hour, 0, 50 mile an hour, 0. And they don't get all crazy, except for Jeff Asher's when his was set up completely different than everybody else. And people were,
It was Cody Thornhill.
oh,
in
it was awful. It was crazy. And it was fast, but man, those cars at Doe Run, they're tough to watch.
I would say when you get Jeff Asher back in a mod light at Doe Run, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't even know if they're going to have them.
Well,
I don't think he's allowed.
No,
bud.
No,
he's on.
he's in my
on the-
boat.
He's worse than you. He's on the
Yeah.
permanent ban.
Yeah,
I
he's
was
on the
standing there when it
permanent
happened.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
ain't coming back.
Yeah.
I really don't see that.
No.
Have you ever drove one of those?
I've sat in it because I had
Man,
to.
it looks
but
like fun.
and that's what a lot of people say. But like, I know when they go to Benton, man, they have a bunch of them down there, but they're close
Man,
to that border
yeah.
down there where there's a bunch in Arkansas.
They go fast.
They're fast.
That night you won down at Benton. They had there was a car. I can't remember the guy's name now. Barrel rolled all the way down the back straightaway. Did you see that?
I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen it, but I heard about it.
And then they brought his car off the racetrack, dropped it off the wrecker, and it fell off.
Like, oh, dude.
Yeah, broke
Dang
the
it.
injection. Yeah, I can't remember that guy's name now. For
I think it was the number one car.
could be
White and pink
car.
one.
Shane Hughes.
I think
There
that was
it
him.
was.
Yep.
Yep, I watched that on a video because it was on
Yeah.
like every website or every freaking post everywhere going,
Right.
check this out. But man, those cars are so cool. I even built my first body. I was all excited. I was hammering on it and shit.
heavy.
Yeah, they look like,
You
because
see
they,
them
they
guys
flip a lot.
They bike up real easy.
Yep.
Man, I wish those cars put on a better show because you can actually do those pretty cheap if you want to,
Right.
and still have a really competitive car. But
Yep.
Doe Run ruins them for me. Not saying that track sucks. I'm just saying because the micros put on a show there this year.
Right.
So I mean, that class compared to that class is different. But man, when they go to SIR, they're
Is it like I have never been there? Is that
SIR
place got some nice bank to it and
Peevely,
stuff? Where you-
but the size of Doe Run.
Yep.
oh yeah, so you can run the top.
It's
Yep,
sick.
it's-
If you ain't running the top,
Yep.
you're getting blown by. It's a neat little place, but they get up higher there, and it's pretty cool. But I wish that class would have picked up a little better just because of the money issue and how
Right.
awesome they look.
Right.
And just you can buy a lot of stuff's cheaper. The motors, their motor is a good deal. I mean, not sealed motor. I don't really know the exact lingo of it, but
Right.
they're stock.
Right.
You're not buying some crazy injections
1000
and
cc,
yes.
yeah. You get
So you're
pretty
getting the
tight.
same stuff a lot of times, but I know I always thought it would be I thought it would be good for Farmington to kind of pick them up with Benton, do a little thing with Benton because Benton they pull 20 cars every time,
Every bit of it. Yeah.
and if they would pick them up and do something, because I wish Farmington could get a little better car count on some of their stuff, just because you hate to see stuff around here just kind of dwindle a little bit. When it ain't dwindling, but I'm saying,
Right. Yeah.
back it's tough to watch like the sprint car class go from B mains back in the day, and it was cool, and now you're like, I wonder if there's gonna be 2 heats.
Yeah.
That sucks, but
And I think that's an issue everywhere. It's not.
it
just
is
locally.
because a lot of people are kind of doing like what he does and like what we do and everything. They're hitting a couple big shows and making a trip.
Right.
Everyone's making trips out of these, and if they're coming home, sometimes they're not racing.
Right.
They're just like, well, we'll just sit this one out or go to Doe Run or Farmington, But a lot of times when you go for a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and all this stuff, you come back home the next week, you're like, I don't even know if I want to go to Farmington or Doe Run just because I need some rest.
How's them teams do that stuff? I mean, they're young, but
I don't know.
not all
man.
of them are. It's 4 days of racing is too much for me.
Right.
It's
Wow, that's just
I'm good for about 2 or 3 nights, and after that, I want to go home.
yeah.
Yeah.
This year, the shootout and the Chili Bowl this year is going to be rough.
Right.
Rough because I mean. The Chili Bowl's cool, and everybody talks about it, and everybody says how cool it is. It's one of the most awful races you'll ever go to in your life.
Now the Chili Bowl, I agree.
Oh, it is
never
awful.
been.
The shootout. Oh my
Shootout
gosh,
is
shootout
insane.
is fabulous.
People-
Best racing you'll see.
People don't really judge by because it's a micro race, and but there's 1,700 cars.
Right.
And it's every day. It starts at 9 a.m. And it races till midnight. And I mean,
yeah.
you can watch as much racing as you want to watch.
out here.
It's
Like I'll be out. In the top of the morning.
it's neat.
Holy crap! There's
But
That's
the Chili Bowl, you don't have a seat. You don't have. I mean, unless you have seats from years and years. I
Right.
mean, you can buy seats, but you're pretty much going there to watch it on a TV screen out in the pit area, which is cool.
You sit in front of Keith Coon's Motorsports trailer and watch on a 200-inch TV. That's what.
And
a
it's
lot of people do.
expensive, yeah. And it's cool to say you went,
Yep.
but you can talk to a lot of guys that are like, hey, I want to go to the Chili Bowl because I heard it was awesome. It's awesome
Yep.
to watch it and just be like something. But with Cole gonna get that ride this year, it's gonna be. I gotta go. Well, I'm gonna be at the shootout for 6-7 days, Chili Bowl for 9 days. I mean, it's gonna be rough. But that's our next show, so we can't talk about that right now.
Okay, I was going to ask if you
I
want
know.
to. If you wanted to go
Easy.
into that.
No, I don't want to go into it because we're modified J bar beating out panels right now.
Hey, you don't beat panels out on there
Oh yeah,
anymore.
and I put that on there, and I thought, man, he's got something on there now that's
called
stack panels. Okay,
Yeah,
So how does that work for the dumb guys like me that don't know what a stack? Explain that to me.
So traditionally we got sheet metal.
Yeah, beat it, get on the hammer.
You lay that damn thing down
Yeah.
on the floor. Well, the stuff they make now, it's like a hybrid of like a fiberglass plastic.
Okay,
So like this, I mean it just don't bend.
really?
It don't break. It don't bend.
Wow.
Now you can drag the wall and rip it off, or
Yeah.
if a guy drives behind you and hits you at 90, it's going to probably tear it off. But this year I didn't even hammer one panel out.
No way.
It's kind of neat. Yeah. And then they're talking about outlawing it, so that's nice.
Really? What?
Yeah.
What's
That's
Money,
a
I mean,
UMP
God, yeah.
thing. It's a money thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the aluminum.
You're buying one body. You're buying
Right.
one body instead of 5 throughout the year, or who knows what for some people. But
Trust me. I mean, I go to a lot of these UMP shows, and they're like, "Hey, don't kill the messenger here," but they're probably going to outlaw that shit because I would have it everywhere.
man?
Left side, right side, the nose. I mean, why wouldn't you?
yeah,
Right.
Why wouldn't you? So it's like, well, I don't care. I'll just do it anyway.
And gave Nathan and was it Brian, your other guy?
Yeah.
Are they related?
No, not
Okay.
even a little bit. You know how many people think that Nathan is Brian's son or that I'm Brian's son?
I kind of was wondering about it because I know Nathan really good.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Not related at all.
I said, I'm wondering if that dude's related to him because I've never heard him talk about him or nothing. But
Yeah, it's the craziest thing because, I mean, Brian helped me before Nathan did.
Yeah.
And
I can't believe Nathan came to the dark side. You know,
Right.
he was.
Nathan was a sprint car guy.
I mean, does he get in here once in a while and put a bigger right rear on here, like or anything like that?
withdrawals from time
I know he's got to be fiending sometimes.
he wanted me. I mean, he's mentioned more than one time that we just need to get a sprint car.
I bet.
Because that's his wheelhouse. And I'm like, you're not wrong, but I don't think I got the cojones for the sprint car. But that's two of the best guys you'll ever meet, man, especially in the shop.
Brian goes everywhere with you, don't he?
I mean, they both do.
Yeah.
And if Brian's not out here enough, his wife will call me and say, hey, you need to get Brian to the shop. Whose wife does that?
Yeah.
Right.
I love Christina.
Right, that's awesome.
But she will send him out here just to drink beer with me, if nothing else.
Dang. That's a complete flip flop of most dudes, you know.
Right? And that's been, I mean, it's always been a great balance. And same with Nathan and his girl. I mean, she's usually out here with him, but we all get along really good, and it's just a good blend of stuff.
Yeah, I figured Nathan would be a little fumbling hands on some of this
He
stuff.
didn't know a damn thing. He ran a stack leaf modified.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, at one point, he
Really?
did.
I don't guess I even remember.
I remember the sprint car.
Benton.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, so anything that we're doing, it means nothing what he did because
Yeah.
it's all different. But he's the tire guy. He knows the stuff about the tires, and we all kind of know about the same amount now on setup.
Yeah.
You know, pretty much. I mean, we're all kind of on the same boat.
Right.
Oh, Nathan used to be a tournament bowler. Do you know that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he threw some bowling in there a little bit.
He's
too.
not bad at playing bags either.
Oh, really?
Oh,
well,
yeah, watch
most everyone that
Got that? You could tell.
most everyone that bowls, because everybody always is like, "Hey, man, you need to get and play bags." I'm like, I don't need any other hobbies. I don't want to do anything else.
That's just a fun thing.
I know, but
Listen.
Jesus.
Like New Year's, we usually have a New Year's party here, and we'll put one board there. We'll throw all the way through there to that over there, and we'll come out and we'll play bags, and we'll have a good time for New Year's. So there you go.
Yeah.
I play it about 4 times a year, as I ain't got time like you.
I've got a nice set, but man, every time I get them out and everybody wants to start drinking, and then
Sounds like a great
I want to
time.
knock that window out and just, I mean,
This isn't enough room, but
I know, it's
it is
just-
and it isn't.
Yeah.
it gets bad.
All right. Well, we got anything else or?
Well, I don't know.
Where's
I
all
mean,
the juicy stuff you said you was going to talk about?
I don't know. Well, I wanted to talk about the Chase Holland deal, see if Gary was going to kind of, have to
No,
put
they
him
get
in the
along
fence
pretty
or
good.
whatever. And
Yeah, they get along pretty
that
good.
was kind of my good juicy thing. And then,
I didn't give you much there. So.
Yeah, I know. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but
Yeah, that's one of
I was
them
throwing
things.
it out there anyway.
Yeah.
And it's personal stuff, but also you're on YouTube, so personal stuff is out there. But I wanted it to be more like Gary's like, hey, yeah, let's get a petition, and we're going to get me in the dome, and Chase Holland's out. And that's what I want to do. I want to get
He
it.
may start that petition. I,
mean,
don't really know, but
We can walk around the pits, get signatures, and send it straight up to whoever, dome.com or whatever it is.
well, Chase has been pretty fast, so he's going to have to
I know.
catch him.
He's pretty good,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he-
I mean, still want to talk crap about him since I don't know him, so I don't care. I mean, it is what it is. There's a whole bunch of people that ain't gonna like us after all this stuff, probably. But
I still like you.
yeah, it's okay. I mean, I didn't know nothing about modifieds, and now I know everything.
Do you?
Yeah, me and Nathan.
Well,
Me and Nathan are coming back later, and we're gonna.
You ready to start driving
J-bar.
one? You ready to start
We're gonna
driving
put
one?
No.
Where is
Everybody
the
said-
J-bar on this thing?
It's in the back.
Okay.
It's in the
Okay,
back.
okay.
I know where that's at because when I hung out with Billy Smith, I used to always grab it and beat stuff up in his garage, and we'd have a bunch of beers, and he'd always be screaming, "Hey, put the J bar up!" So that's the only reason I know what that thing is.
Oh, sheesh. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to tinker with back there.
Ooh, yeah, I ain't into all that.
Well,
Ooh.
Nathan's told me, he's like, listen, you a couple of blocks and this, that, and the other, and you're set up. I'm like, dude, I just spent all day doing that.
Right?
Yeah, no, you can get some setup blocks on a sprint car and put some turns in it, and
Big go-kart, right?
it's done.
Right.
You're ready to rock and roll.
Right? Yeah.
Motor stuff's a little different. but-
Space right rear out a little, suck left rear in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Socks.
we're good to go. You
and you
know,
wreck it, and then you're broke completely.
right?
Run wingless.
Yeah, that'd be cool. What's Nashnator going to do now? next year.
Well,
is he, which I know we talked about before, but I was saving that, so I kind of had to shut up about it earlier. So he's going to go kid mod route, not like junior sprint type route like that.
I asked him, I said, all right, Chase. So, I mean, because, I'll let him have a say in what he wants to do, obviously.
Right.
It's just, depending on the money.
Yeah.
I said, what do you want to do when you get big? You want to run a sprint car or you want to run a late model? I mean, I'm trying to go open wheel. What are we doing?
Yep.
He said, I want to run a late model. I'm like, well,
Then that's the other route.
we're not going to get a junior sprint.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, I mean, I could have a damn nice B mod or kids mod for a junior sprint price.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What are you spending on them? 20 grand to have something nice?
Easy. It's that class is a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
I will say that.
And I would probably skip it.
Yeah.
I would probably skip it and go straight to like a restricted micro.
Yeah. And because you can actually have a restricted micro.
There's way more of them.
Yeah. And it's
More they are.
You can race everywhere with it too.
Yeah.
So I'm the kids mod deal. Now I don't know if like Doe Run's going to pick them up. I hope they do because I mean there's several kids that are doing it.
Right.
I'm sure Peevely will, but it's just basically the same car as this. I mean exactly. A little bit different in the back on suspension and a 4.3 Chevy motor. I mean my transmission and everything will work.
I seen
Really?
well, and I
Yeah,
talked to
everything.
when I talked to Billy about all that stuff because I had the opportunity to get a restrictor car, and I was like, "Hey, what's Zane going to do? Are you going modified?" And he goes, "Well, we kind of got a Chris has an old modified. We're thinking about doing this kids mod deal and this and that." And he goes, "I said, well, I kind of got a restrictor deal going if you want to do it." And I said, "It's nice shit. I mean, good stuff.
Right.
So you want to do this?" And well, Zane's like, "I don't care, And then he kind of picked up, "Hey, let's do that." So we jumped into that, and it's crazy how these kids pick that stuff up so fast, man. I mean, but they also grew up around it, like with the other kids we have, they're all racing all these cars. They just started and they're starting to be pretty good, but they got good stuff. Well, Zane had decent stuff, and he's picked it up so much, but also he's probably been driving in his mind a modified when he was 3, just like all these kids have been around it, but
Yeah, they grew up around that.
Yeah.
stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't have a choice.
no,
Right. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's about it. But
Yeah, that's and Zane he picked it up and he got some pretty good wins this year.
yeah, that last one at Southern Illinois, even though I would say there was only like 8 or something cars there, you pick up a win there. That is kind of like your Peevely idea. Those guys that race there, even if they're local dudes, they're tough.
They're good.
They're
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
And he picked up a couple good ones that Doe Run too. But there's some of those people, man, they spend some money in that class, and it's which every class is like that. So I can't really say that, but
Yeah, I mean, the more how fast you want to go, right?
Even in the go-karts, it's, same way, I'm sure.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
They're-
Yeah. I got lucky and did a buyout and had some pretty good carts and kind of sold, wheeler dealered some stuff. Yeah. And I believe I got him in some decent stuff, but we may run one more season with it. I don't know. It may be that, but I think there's opportunities that are opening up right now in racing that I would really like to see something happen with him.
yeah.
Not to say my kid's the best racer in the world, but you won't know. Keep going,
Yeah.
keep going with it, see where it goes.
That's another thing. Next couple of years, when he starts getting into everything, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Is Dad done racing at
Well,
that
I
point?
told
or-
Chase that
That's every dad's question, though.
Right.
I
Yeah.
won't retire until he can beat me in a race car.
Oh, okay.
So I may never retire.
Yeah.
All right.
You may retire in 2 years.
I said that might happen a lot faster than you think.
I'll open the book of retiring when he beats me. I'm not saying that when he does it, I'm done. Hell no.
Yeah.
He's already beat me. Matter of fact, if you want to get technical, but it wasn't like a race. But we took his wing cart because we got a track behind the house. And I had a flat cart. I mean, it was fast, really fast. And Brian had a flat cart. And Chase was like, Dad, I want to race. I'm like, no, it's the big kid stuff. Leave us alone. We're going to race. Because, we're like, he'll just be in the way. You don't want to wreck him. Don't want to tear our stuff up.
Right.
Because that's what he races. Finally, I'm like, all right, let's go get it. So I put him and Brian on the front row, and we have a start. We know where 4 is. We come off. Brian gets him. Chase passes him on the top. So I'm sitting back there laughing, I'm like, all right, I guess I'll go now. So me and Brian are racing, and I don't remember if I get around him or not, but next thing I know, Chase is a half a lap ahead of us. I'm like, all right, Chase, you're going to the back. I could not beat him. And we had some pretty fast flat carts. So, I mean, he's technically already beat me, but.
Right.
And they're so used to driving that all the time,
Yeah, he can drive his never lift.
Yeah.
Hold it down,
Yeah.
So are you going to be, is this the kind of car we're going to be seeing next year?
Yeah, race car. Yep.
Yeah, modified with the body.
Yeah, modified with the body.
We ain't seen no modified
So
here.
many
There ain't
people.
no modified going to be in this garage. I guarantee it.
Well, so many people, like on our YouTube stuff, the last video I done, I said, just guess, post it in the comments, just trying to get people riled up. One guy guessed what I was doing. There's a lot of people that were guessing wrong.
Well, then I'm gonna be wrong.
I could tell some people, but I won't do that to Tim because he did tell me last week.
Yeah.
But I won't be the guy to spill
I
the
figured
beans.
it was late model, but I know that guess was out there way more than one time.
I'll tell you right now, it's not a late model.
Yeah.
Reason being, I got a trailer that'll haul late model. I mean, I did make sure to get the trailer just in case, but it's just too expensive.
Yeah.
It really is. Maybe like a crate late model deal. Because let's be honest, I mean, yeah, you're spending more money on tires and stuff, but the motor, that's
Right.
You go get a 430 wide bore Clements or something. What's that? $50,000 or $60,000?
And the shocks on these aren't cheap, but I know the late model shocks are out of
Twice
control
as
as well. Yeah, yeah. So,
Like a good set of shocks for a modified, a good set, $3,500.
See, and that's good. That ain't terrible.
Yeah.
At all.
A decent set, like you could get some stuff, $1,500, or you can buy some used stuff and send it to your shop guy, just like anything else. But now, late model, and I'm one of them guys that it's just weird about it. I want my own stuff, so what's rolling in here is going to be owned by me.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not. No, I don't have a car owner or nothing. It's my stuff, and I can't make that happen.
Yeah.
Maybe later on in life if Chase gets into one, that'd be great. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess we're going to modify it again next year because I can't think of any other cars.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean,
This is bullshit.
did anybody guess sprint car?
One.
I think there was a one sprint.
What?
So that guy's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
There's one
And
guy
there's
that
one-
guessed the sprint.
Yeah, hey, we could be onto something here.
There we go. Nathan's going to be just in here
Man, he would be
drooling.
in cloud
You better
nine.
get you a cot set up over here.
You'd be sleeping with that bastard. Like,
Hey, you're gonna have to raise your garage doors there to
they're 8 foot.
Oh, it'll fit.
They're 8 foot.
It'll fit.
Oh yeah.
not with the wing
Now the
on.
trailer is going to be a different story.
Well, yeah.
I'll have to take.
You have to take the wing off when you get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That and
Get two of them in there.
yeah, so you're getting two. That's cool.
I really would like to drive. Asher's told me more than once. Like, you need to hot lap this.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Going from like when I drove my micro forever, and then when I drove Doc Sloan's sprint car, a good handful of times. Once you kind of hit the gas and start going, dude, it's just like this.
It's like driving a go kart.
It's not. I mean, and everybody says it. The faster you go, the easier it is kind of to handle. But you got to have the balls to go fast, so it still handles a little rougher when you don't got the gas pushed all the way down. But it's not. It's not as.
trust the car.
It's-
when
it's
you're
a
getting in
trust,
because
yeah.
it pins it.
Oh,
It
yeah.
you don't think it's going to turn.
It's different. I mean, but the horsepower is stupid. I mean,
Power to weight ratio.
'cause
you got 900, 800, 800 horsepower.
first time I did it, and we went out there, and I just
Pulled a big ass.
punched. Yep, and I thought I blew the whole front end out of the car, and I was like, oh my god, it's Doc Sloan's car. It's
gotta roll in.
expensive, and I just blew it all out, and I'm never doing this again, and this is the scariest thing I've done in my life. And I was like, this is nuts. Well, after you get rolling, I mean, it is the faster you kind of go. Besides when you see them getting a little crazy,
Right.
But yeah, but the only thing it sounds like is the whole time you're in that car, it sounds like every one of your buddies is outside the car just smashing cans. The wing is rattling, everything's going on, and you're just like, this thing is getting ready to fall to pieces. This thing's a hunk of junk.
Push the gas down harder.
This is a $100,000 hunk of junk, man.
So why haven't you taken Asher up on that opportunity yet?
I don't know. It's one of those things that I guess I don't trust myself with it. I'm afraid I'm going to wad it up.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I mean, I've drove my micro, a modified, a street stock, and that's it. So, I mean, I don't have a really. I feel I'm pretty versatile, though. I think I can do it.
well,
Yeah.
we
Well,
need
next
to make
year
it happen this year. We want to see you in Asher sprint
If
car.
somebody's dumb enough to put me behind the wheel, I mean, hey,
Well, he's got two coming.
He's got more than two, I think.
Sprint cars?
that's a call out, Asher.
Yeah. All right.
Call out.
Jeff
And-
Asher, it's on you.
You're
We wanna-
gonna-
We want to see Tim in the sprint car.
Think skinny, and you can get in mine. They're saying.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of. I got a
Tit
bunch
for
of
tat,
ideas
bud.
about some people driving some stuff. So,
Yeah.
but we'll have to make sure if,
Hey,
if
you-
like 4 people watch this show, then I guess we won't really
Hey,
worry about all my other ideas. But
I think I'd throw Asher in your car at Springfield. He's got a good track record there. Turn 3, Springfield. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. Back then, yeah, that was back whenever he knew exactly how deep the creek was at the bottom of that hill.
Yeah, he
Sailed her off.
I went to the one or two times I've been in the Springfield race at Turkey Bowl, whatever it is.
Turkey Bowl, yep.
They watered the track. It was slimy as all get out. He comes out of turn 2, wide open into turn 3 on a track that had no business, and he launched it off into the woods.
That sucker went, and it's all downhill to like a ravine creek area.
Yeah.
It's better now, but
Bunch of cedar trees and pines, and
we're gonna leave that car there till the races are done. Okay? We ain't messing with it. Dude. Yeah, that's a cool track though. They've done a lot there, and I will race that next year. That'll be on my schedule.
good deal. But anywhere else? Any other plans for the year?
Yeah, just the kind of normal stuff.
Assume you'll do the Fairbury stuff.
I'll always go to Fairbury, even if I don't make it. It's just the environment there. It's one of the coolest races. Still yet to this day, I think Belleville was the funnest place to watch late models I ever been to.
Man.
I seen just the other day they're knocking it down right as we speak.
Yeah, they're tearing it down now, and I really hope
make it bigger, but
I hope they rebuild. I have my doubts.
I wish
really
they'd
do.
have just redone that track. That was damn awesome.
I don't know why they didn't because they are rebuilding it to be bigger and do this stuff, but I don't think that's
It ain't gonna be the same.
the same. If you didn't go there and watch a midget race and not think that was cool, even if you didn't even know what a midget was,
I ran there one time in my life.
insane.
And that was,
I made the mistake of
that place is awesome.
sitting by my wife one time at a midget show there, and Rico was there. He was leading, spun out, went to the back, come back and won. And I think I had bruises on my legs from her freaking out because you know how midgets are, especially at Belleville. And Rico was putting it on the wall, and
well, that wall
oh
blends
my gosh,
in.
yeah.
In a race car,
Yeah.
those railroad ties or telephone poles, whatever they were, you can't tell where the damn track stops. So you wind up, everybody's always up on them things.
And you get too much of it, it's you're in, and it's
Right.
over.
Not to mention the wall on the inside's like, a couple of feet tall, and there's guys with their feet on it,
Yeah.
and you're going
Yeah.
by, and you could just be pruning their toes off.
Yep.
Yep.
It's like, what the hell? I had a buddy of mine sticking for me when we were there, and he just had to do this, just stick his hands out. I mean, I've seen him plain as day.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap. But yeah, Fairbury I'll go to. I want to hit Farmer City up this year. I've never been there.
Yeah.
It's fairly close. I think I'm going to go to Spoon River again. That's a really slick, smooth track.
That's a fun track. Yep.
If you don't know by now, for naming all these tracks, I mean, there's only certain cars that run there.
Yeah, sprint cars ain't happening. I'm all bummed out already now. My dream.
Hey, you never know. Maybe I'll drive Ashers and I'll just sell everything.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Like, why the
What's
hell?
what do Matt, my buddy Matt Boyd goes to a race every year up there and runs his mod light, but I know they run everything. Boonville.
Yeah,
What
the
is that?
IMCA National.
Super National.
Oh,
Yeah.
Boone, Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been there, and they say you got to go.
Yeah, that's what he tried to get me to go this year, and
gotta
I just
go.
wouldn't go. And he's like, "You got to go, you got to go, man." I'm like,
A week,
I know. I said I can't go, and he goes, "The street stocks is what's cool there,
dude. And I'm talking, they're hiking left.
Yeah, that's what he said. He goes,
High
"You'll
fly.
like it. I promise. You'll like it. I promise." I'm like, man, I can't do it yet, man. I can't do it. And he's like, "You got to go." And
Racing's
I almost went. I know. I should have went, but we also had a big race that same week. Actually, that was our big race at Doe Run, I believe.
Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
Yep. I think so.
Yep.
So
So there you go. Check that one on the bucket list too.
I'll have to go to a couple of those things and talk about fenders and stuff.
I guess if we're going to do a podcast, I got to go to a couple races this year somewhere too.
I'll be at Farmington a couple times.
Okay. Okay.
Peevely.
yeah. Benton.
I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
I go to
yeah.
Benton. Track called Charleston Speedway.
Okay.
Pretty cool. They have a thing called the 38 Special. I usually go. I've been to that the last few times.
Well, you'll be at Jeremy. You'll be at Doe Run a lot, won't you?
As much as you. But hey,
you going?
I ain't on
I
the.
want to go all the
I'm
time.
not kicked out yet. Somehow.
I don't think I am. I
We'll be
think
at
I'm
Doe Run,
just.
too.
I'm on the chalkboard.
You think we ought to get Tommy on sometime?
We're getting Tommy on.
All
It's happening.
right.
Tommy Harris, this one's for you, buddy.
Yep.
Call out.
Come on now.
We got one other show, and if more than like 6 people watch this one and 6 people watch the next one,
Then
We all got sympathetic friends and
I
family
know
that will,
they'll have to
Right,
watch
that
it.
will watch this just so they feel bad for it.
But I think I hyped it up so much. I think they thought I was just going to cuss and rip people with all this and do all this.
You may
but-
have to at the end.
Well, it just was out of my ball game right now. I just kind of, I didn't get everything kind of going, but I threw a couple things in there. I mean, I know Chase Holland won't watch it, but I mean, we'll tag him in it.
I'll tag.
Yeah,
tag
Gary's taking his
Van Reed
place.
better watch it.
I mean, I think it'd be cooler if Haley took his place in the domes than Gary. But we,
You never know what could happen,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I think she's pretty damn aggressive.
yeah,
I've raced her on this track behind the house. She's tore my stuff up. If you ever see her, ask her about me, her, and her dad at Branson with the fast go-karts. We break stuff.
Tell you, she's really stepped up her driving game in the last couple of years.
Yeah. She really surprised me at Brownstown. There was that big B-Mod show. It was $10,000 to win. I went up there with them, and she finished 11th out of, I don't even remember how many cars were there. Bunch. 90-something, maybe 100. I don't remember.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she done really good, and
I know something else I was going to say was what's the wrap thing that they have on their cars? Because I watched a couple videos on it. What is that? Is that their stuff or what is that? It looks like a TV show or something.
yeah, it could be something really, really good for the dirt racing community because it's called Finding the Underdog, and it's basically like a TV series.
Yeah.
So I think the first one they ever done was on like a football guy, and he got in the draft, and it was like a whole big thing. And so it's sports related. But this one is about the dirt racing, the community, just everything that they can get into and make people aware of. And it was Haley, Gary, Rick Canoyer, Joe Patrick. I can't remember his first name. It was Josh Carroll's son, and Josh Dolan's. I think that's it. Might be missing one, but anyway, there's several people that they picked for this. So they made a TV series out of it, and I think they're looking at big places, Netflix, Amazon, whatever, to buy this. And then they're gonna, that's gonna help out the people that.
I figured it was something like that, just because I didn't see like sponsors. I didn't see, all the wraps look different and all this, and I was like, something's up with that. They're doing something for some kind of show.
Finding the Underdog, and it'll. I don't really know release date on it, but I think. I was at Brownstown. They were doing all that. There was a lot of cameras.
I figured that.
A lot.
Yeah.
And they're gonna wrap that up, and I think they're gonna finish like the editing part of it maybe in December. I don't know.
Cool.
That's just something you just have to. They got social media, the Finding the Underdog stuff. They got their socials and stuff, so you just have to follow that. And see, but that's a huge step for all them people.
If that jumps into a big thing and somebody picks it up, that's
right.
Big.
Huge.
Man. Yeah.
Especially like for the 6 people that I just mentioned. I mean, that they're all included in that.
Why didn't you jump on that?
I didn't get an invite.
Oh, okay.
Not to say maybe I won't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, they know who I am.
Yeah.
Right.
I was there, so I would rather them pick something like Chase up than me.
Yeah.
I'm just an old washed up modified guy. But you never know. I mean, you never know what's going to happen, and I don't know how they pick people or any of that. So even if I was in the middle of it, I don't know how all that happens. They just get referred to because them guys didn't know anything about dirt racing, nothing.
Yeah.
It's like sports, like NFL stuff, and so to have those guys come do that. I mean, whatever comes of it, it's just going to make the dirt racing for us better.
Right.
Which
More eyes.
NASCAR gets paid, not like we're looking for NASCAR money, but maybe that means more sponsors will come on board for people. And,
Right.
That's going to drive everything up. Maybe we get paid more.
Right.
Because not a lot of people know about dirt racing.
No.
Kinda sucks.
Well, I mean, our area, and I mean, there's a lot of it, but you got to be in certain areas because some people don't have a clue.
Be shocked how many people don't know there's a racetrack out Highway 67.
Yeah.
Our local people.
And Kevin Engler knows.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in his front yard.
I think he likes the
Every
place.
once in a while I can hear it out here. It's too loud.
Yeah.
Is it? Keeps you awake at
Well,
night?
I mean, you ought to move closer. I mean, that'd be the smart thing if you don't like racing to move into,
right on top.
right into the top of that
It's
thing.
been there for 30 years already. But anyway, you know how that goes. Same way with Benton. They didn't know it was.
Right.
I went to that gas station, and this kid is at the counter's like, "Where are you going with that big trailer and stuff?" I said, "The racetrack right here. There's a racetrack over there."
Yeah, half mile down
He
the road.
worked at the gas station.
Quarter mile down the
He
road.
lived there somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, it's literally right over there.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
All right, got anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so, man. Just hopefully we can. Well, I think we're gonna do one more. For sure. We got one more show.
We're gonna do one more, and I don't know when we'll have to set that up.
And see when Cole wants to do on that, or can we say that?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. We're gonna do one more with Cole Tinsley. He's one of my drivers for in his micro. Won a bunch of stuff. Had a year this year that was just insane in the micro world to certain people for a local people like this. I mean, he won one of the biggest micro races in the country, and then a ton of other big races. Well, then he got an opportunity to pick up Joby Miller's, teammate for the Chili Bowl to run a midget, which he's never done. So, I mean, we're going to hype that up. I know he's not going to want me to because all eyes on him, and midgets probably not that easy, but I mean, just to do it, who cares? That's insane.
Once in a lifetime opportunity that
you got to take it.
I guess the only guys from our area, you had Jimmy Kite in the early 2000s. Joey Montgomery's tried it once or twice, but as far as I know from St. Francis County, nobody's ever done it.
Nope. I mean, this will be our first. I mean, and he's young enough; he can do it. And I mean, I know everybody wants him to see it. His grandpa Denny, man, he's cool as shit.
Denny's a good guy.
Oh, he's
good
cool,
guy.
man. And I know he wants to see him. He's getting older, so he wants to see him do anything and everything. So I know that week down there is going to be a dream, man. If you see some of the pictures at that milestone, that 10,000 to win race that we got on our Facebook, and you see Denny's picture in the background of some of them, dude, it almost gets you.
Yep.
It almost gets you.
Yep.
I mean, I'm like, oh, damn. I mean, it is tough to look at. I was like, because he's just like, I mean, that one I put on there, Denny's soaking it in. I mean, everybody's in there and he's getting out of the car. And I mean, they got the 10,000 win check and Denny's just like watching all. You just like, dude, he's taking that in, man. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. But
you don't get to feel that much.
No. And I mean, he had a heck of a year. So to get him on there now, it'll be in the wheelhouse a little better so I can talk about other stuff. But I think it was a little cooler to talk about nothing I have no clue about really. I mean, I have a clue about it. I mean,
it's a race car.
I got really drunk in Billy's garage a million times and looked at that car a lot.
That's the hardest car to drive.
That's what I heard.
I've
heard.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yes.
Because, Doc Sloan, I traveled with him forever. And, he was not the sprint car driver. I mean, everybody's like, I can't believe he's going everywhere. Who gives a crap?
Right.
If he wants to go, I mean, we went to Knoxville, we went to Eldora, we went everywhere, and he didn't make shows and do all this, and we had a blast. Yep. And people were like, I can't believe it, man. He sucks, and why is he doing that? Why don't he do this? And I'm like, because we're having fun,
Jealous they wasn't having fun.
Get lost, dude.
Right.
And he told me, because he started it, and he goes, if I got to go back to that, we'll just sell everything. He goes, that was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. He goes, and I don't know how to drive, but that thing was impossible.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that was it.
Let's say let's close up on. So your dome night is Friday night.
Yep, Friday night prelim.
All right. Okay, so this is going to release Thursday morning, right? Thursday morning. So that's the first night of the dome or first morning of the dome.
Yep.
So everybody will be able to watch this right before Tim goes out on Friday and.
It doesn't matter to me.
Wish you luck. No, we want everybody to watch.
I think I'm going to go.
Are you?
I know, dude. I mean,
another event that you probably need to go to,
right?
I mean, I've been to it 2 or 3 times that we talked about earlier. I went the first year.
Don't get the dome flu.
Total disaster.
Yeah.
Because the ice storm and
I stayed. Everybody was leaving. I'm like, hell with this. I'm staying.
My biggest thing with that freaking dome is the seating situation. Yeah. I still think, I know it's at the dome, so you got to have your seat, you got to do this, but open up the whole damn thing besides the top far, and you buy a grandstand seat.
Right.
And I understand you got to have a seat and everything, but the first year I went, got me so aggravated with it because we had a seat and I was in the middle and there was huge dudes around us. Well, there was a whole section right here next to us. There was like 7 people in it. So we kind of moved and went over there. Well, they have ushers there, just like you're at a football game. And the guy's like, hey, these aren't your seats. I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to get out of this mess right here. We're elbow to elbow. I'm got ketchup and stuff from this guy eating 6 hot dogs all over me. I'm out. I want to go sit over here.
Sweets.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, come on now. I'm St. Francis County. Well, I know, but you're Tim Nash. I was going to to about how you made your first million on YouTube too. I forgot about that.
Let's stand by for that.
But
I think I'm up to 3 million by now. So I can't remember how I made the first million.
We were there all night, and the track was rough. Everything was still good though. I think that was the year they ran midgets though. So it was
not the first year.
Yeah, not the first year.
Wasn't the first year?
No.
So I went the years they ran midgets too.
Okay.
So, but I did go the first year. The first year was I did go to that one, and that was the year we had hot dogs all over us because these guys were just living the dream, which was cool. But I mean, what's the point of me not getting to sit here? And that guy made me come back, and I'm just like, I'm going in the bathroom. I'm pissing in the floor.
Hey,
I mean, I'm
brought
out.
My own beer that year. I brought a cooler, just to see if I could get away with it. Piled that thing full. It was my lunchbox from work. Piled it full of beer. We stopped at the gas station, and I carried that son of a gun right in. And I went back and got more beer. And everybody's like, "Where'd you get that beer?" I'm like, "I brought it." No. I was selling beer out of that.
Oh,
Because it's
shoot.
what, 12 or 15
now
bucks
it's
for a
crazy,
beer?
which is another thing that's a little out
It was 8 or
of
9
the
bucks,
world. But
Yeah.
I mean, I get it all. That's just the way it has to be because this year Matt's trying to find us some tickets, and he's like, well, I don't want to sit in this spot because man, it gets rough in this. I don't know where he was talking about. He said down lower, it's pretty rough. And I was like, well, okay. And I'm like, well, they opened up this one thing. He goes, yeah, it's way up there. I'm like, who cares,
bad seat in the
man?
house.
But can't you just buy pit passes too and then still buy seats? I know you got to buy
a
both.
grandstand pass.
Yes.
No matter what. And then you have to buy a $75 pit pass. It's
Okay.
a 3-day deal. Doesn't matter if you're going one day. Appreciate you guys coming here,
Right.
having me on the show in my shop.
It's been a
in the
fun
background.
episode, and we could sit here for another 2 hours and talk, but I know everybody don't want to.
Yeah, hopefully
long.
we get some good feedback and everything.
Right.
We get a couple more shows in because I got some juicy ideas here for too long. Getting some people on here. I even got something for Chad. The guy who runs the barn here.
Yeah.
I got
that face. Yeah.
a little something. If we can get it, it's according if we're friends with somebody by then. So we'll see what happens.
We'll have plenty of options to share this. I'll share it on
yeah.
all my
Yeah.
media stuff. And
yeah.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yep.
All the
See you
good
next
stuff.
time.
See you next time.